Hi crafters, Raquel here with Paints and Glitter, and today I'm coming to you with the Tonic Studios Simple Sliding Affection box. This is an adorable little box that I'm going to be putting together today. So if you want to follow along the tutorial, you'll be able to make it as well. And I'm also going to have listed below all of the materials that I've used in this video. So if you want to shop, whether it be in the UK or the US, all of the items will be there for you. And I want to thank Tonic Studios for sending me this adorable die set. As you can see here, this is what it makes. It's absolutely gorgeous. And to let you know what papers I've used for the mirror card that you see there, I did use the water Sprite card, and that's a beautiful green holographic cardstock. And then right behind it is a pearlescent pink card, and it's called Princess Pink. And those both are still available in both stores. And then the base of the box is in Buttermilk yellow. The pretty little ribbon that I've added for the closure here is in Ivory white. That's the Craft Perfect Crafter's ribbon, and it is the 9mm size. This is also available in a thinner size, but I'll be linking this one below. And then finally, to decorate the box, as you see the little flowers, I wanted them to stand out, as well as the side portion there. It has this really gorgeous type of design on the borders there. I used 3 different types of drops, and they're all in lavenders. The first is the crystal drop in Wisteria purple, and that's shiny, by the way. It has a nice glossy finish. Then I did use 2 different drops in the vintage drop style, which does have a matte finish. The first one was purple basil, and the other's lavender fog. This one's no longer available. So what I did is that I did link a shimmer spray in lavender in the links below. So if you're interested in looking that up, that's available. But this also has some adorable little sentiments aside from the actual mechanisms and everything that make the box. So I did select the one that says "Thanks for being you," and just to share with you how easy this opens. Has a little lock closure here. This slides out. I'm gonna set that aside. It slides out, and then you're able to make the little box look like this if you would like. I did reinforce mine with 110-pound cardstock on the inside, and that's what you see there in the pink. And then just to share with you a sample of what you could fit inside, I went ahead and put the tiny little Nuvo embossing powders that I have in here. And of course you can select, and I'll share this in the tutorial, you can select to add the little tabs if you want to. These adhere right inside quite easily. So if you want to have a little compartment that only has one type of item here, you can do that. If you want to create several, you can as well. I omitted mine, of course, but it is so super pretty. You can decorate the outer edges here, as you can tell, of the inside box, and then you can also decorate the bottom. So if you see that, it's entirely just up to you how you want to go about it. And so I'm going to have options for that as well. I invite you to watch the tutorial if you want to pick up this set. I think it's a phenomenal value just because of the fact that you don't just have to use it for this type of box. You can certainly use the panels to make a card, and if you like to make memory books, this is the perfect little size here, this little decorative panel, for you to make little pockets inside of your mini albums. And I think that I'll be doing that in the future, of course. So lots of different ideas and ways in which you can incorporate this into your crafting. I think it's so very delicate and beautiful. And of course, I'm going to have little tips and tricks because of what I learn as I go along. And if you run into any kind of, little questions that you might have as you're building it, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to respond. But next will be the tutorial. So thank you so much for your time. Let's begin here. There are pieces that are going to create the base pieces for this box, and it also comes with full instructions here. And it does also have some decorative pieces. Those are usually not typically mentioned in the instructions per se, but you can definitely add them, and that's what's going to make your box unique. And of course you can switch and change things around as you wish. But starting up here, you're going to have this base piece here. And then there's another base piece here. There's also this piece here that has a little notch in it. You're going to be able to see. And there's also an inner lid piece. That's this rectangle here. Okay. And it's quite large. In fact, the finished piece, if I'm not mistaken, is 5.5 by 3.1 by 1.4. And I'll go ahead and, of course, share with you as I go along what goes with what and all of that, but you're also going to be using this piece here. So I like to kind of point these out because these are the base pieces for your box. And sometimes, depending on how you lay them out on your paper and all that good stuff, you'll be able to make the most use of your paper, but that's the foundation. And then the rest of the pieces are going to be decorative. So let me set those aside for a moment and point these out. So you have some panels here, and right away what stands out is that the panels are stitched all along the edge. So they all have this adorable little stitching line. I really like that Tonic Studios takes the time to add those details, and that's on every single layering panel that you see. And then you have some panels that are also decorative, such as what would go on the cover. And it has this detail here. And then in the center, you see that there's an opening. This doesn't cut out. This is actually going to allow you to add the little pieces that are going to create the closure of the box. So it is an alternate type of closure, meaning that you have a choice on whether or not you want to use it that way. But there's also these pieces here on the side, and there's a banner piece. This one says "From Me," and it has a tiny little heart right there. And then there's another banner over here. This one says "Thanks for being you." I really love that sentiment. And by the way, this banner does emboss right into the paper, so that's great to use with the metallic papers because it helps it stand out. There's this tiny little banner down here. This one says "To You." So of course the "From Me to You" can be used together. And over here there's yet another sentiment. This one says "Packed with Love." It's so cute. And this one's oval, so it's not the same as the little banners that you see going around, so that makes it a little bit different. But there is a tag that it coincides with, so it'll fit right inside here. Okay, so that's why I was pointing out the shape. There's the oval tag, and then you have the option of that "Sent with Love," or I'm sorry, "Packed with Love," or you have the other sentiment, which is "My Gift." So you can definitely do that one as well. So what I'll do is I'll cut these out, of course. I'm going to share with you what they look like, but there's an itty bitty little banner piece here, another one over here, and of course these can all be used as layering pieces. And then there's this heart-shaped closure, which I think is so unique and adorable about this set. But if you need to put these away in a safe manner so that you can easily access them, you can definitely get the envelopes with the magnet from Tonic Studios. Those fit just like this. They look like this when you get them, and as you can see here, they're quite large, so you can fit an entire set right in here. And then because it's double-sided, as you see here, then you can fit an entire different set, or do as I do, which is also to maybe house some of the smaller ones on one side and then larger ones on the other, however you like. But you can definitely get the large binder if that's something that interests you as well. So I'll go ahead and link those things below because sometimes they're at a really great price. It's a wonderful way to house your dies. So I'll be back and I'll share with you what pieces I've cut out, and then we'll put this together. Okay, so a little something I wanted to point out about this die set is that the little pieces that are inlay pieces or decorative pieces here are very size specific, so you're going to note that this large rectangle has some pieces that fit into it. You want to make note of that when you're cutting out your paper. The same with this one here that has the slant in it. This one, of course, only has one inlay piece there. However, you do have the option of using this one because you're going to be cutting out 2 pieces with this base. Using the base pieces, you're going to need 2 that look like this, and I explained this is the large rectangle. You're going to need 2 with a little notch. You're going to need 2 that have the slanted edge. Okay, and now I'm only going to be using one of the simple rectangles, okay? And then I'm going to share with you the layers. So for that simple rectangle, as I mentioned before, there's a singular layer that can go right on top of that. For these notched pieces, you can cut out the layers that will match that, so you'll need 2. For the slanted layers here, you can cut out 2, so on and so forth. And then of course, this is going to layer one on top of the other, so you're going to be adhering these like so. And on the back, if you want to, you can add a layer using one of these as well. That's up to you on how you're going to decorate it. So you may want to take a look at how you're going to close the box and all of that. So let's start here. I'm going to place this smooth side up. It does have that linen weave on the back, and this is Buttermilk paper from Tonic Studios, which is one of my favorite colors. This happy yellow color is what I call it. So I'm just going to aim my adhesive here on the center panel, which is a rectangle. And this is going to nest one on top of the other. And of course, you can burnish your folds before you do this if you would like. Be doing the same on this side, but first I'm going to go ahead and lay this down before my glue dries completely, and I'm aiming that line right to the edge there, and sometimes it's easier to see again once your papers are folded. You want to make sure that those little corners are really nice and straight, because that's going to make a difference as to how well your box fits together. So just be patient. Okay, once you have the placement exactly where you want it, then you can go ahead and burnish this, just like that. Okay, now I already folded 2 sides. I'm going to go ahead and complete folding the other 2 and burnishing before I apply any more glue. Okay, so in this case, all of these little tabs are going to fold in as well. And I'm just going to pinch them gently. This one, the little liner was coming off, but okay. And then pinch this one as well. Make sure those are nice and straight. Okay, so you're going to have something that looks like this. You have 2 different options for the layer that you can place on the sides here. There's this one here, but I've gone with the one that cuts out all the little hearts. I thought that was really pretty. And I'm going to layer these together, glue them, and then I'm going to place them on the sides before I continue assembling my box. Once you have the base of your box assembled and decorated, as you see here, so pretty, then you can use this piece. And if you did cut out, as per the instructions, 5 of these, then you can definitely use them to decorate the inside of your box as far as making compartments. All you would have to do is fold it right down the middle and burnish that fold, of course. Then the outermost little folds that you see here would actually fold up on both sides. Okay, kind of like a little airplane. And then the same for the other 2 little tabs. Now, what you could do with this, of course, is once it's folded like that, you have a V fold, then you would place glue right down the center. I've placed tape on mine here. And just fold that together like that. Okay, then you're going to have something that looks like this. Now, depending on whether or not you make more of these is going to also determine which way you're going to fold those little outer tabs that you have there, because this is now, with these 2 tabs that folded out, going to fit right in the center of your box like that. And then, of course, if you've cut out others, then you can place them facing the inner portion of the box here. You can make several of these and just make them all parallel one to another. It's really up to you, but again, that depends on what you're going to place inside. So I am going to omit this from this particular tutorial, and of course, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to help with that. To make the lid of this box, before I move on, I wanted to show you a couple of different options. You're going to be using that singular rectangle and cutting out your layer piece. And of course, then it's going to have little hinges that you can place on it. You can double it up, which is what I'm going to be doing. I cut out 2 of them. One of them is in 110-pound cardstock and the other one in that pretty buttermilk paper. However, if you want to just use this without anything else in the die set, you certainly could. What you can do is put the layering pieces that you have included in the kit, and then go ahead and place the hinges first and then decorate the top. And that way you're just going to have a little box that looks like this with, of course, the pretty hinges on the inside. And you could use it like so and place a little tab here and close it on the side. But I'm going to go ahead and do all of it. So first, what I'm going to do is adhere my 2 layers, and the pink is going to face the inside of the box. And this is just a very light pink colored heavyweight card. And now I'm going to place this one right on top. And while this is drying, I'm just going to burnish it, of course, first. While that's drying, I'm going to take what's going to be the little hinges that are going to close this box. And these are meant to be snipped in half. Take your little scissors and cut these right along the middle here. Just cut mine a tiny bit more here. Okay, and do that with both. So using the grid, of course, on your cutting mat, I think is the best way to go about it. You can pick the lines that are more suitable for placement, and then you can adhere 2 of them on the outside. You pick the placement that you think is good for you. And you can always use the low tack adhesive for this if it helps, if your paper shifts too much. Repeat that on the other piece here. Move over here. There we go. All right. Once you're happy with that placement, what you'll do is you can now flip this over, and this is going to allow you to gauge where the other 2 are going to go. So what I'm going to do here is apply adhesive to the outside portion. placing this right here on the side, and then I'm matching up the edges, making sure that that's slightly outside of that box, slightly, just like that. Now I have my two little tabs inside of there. And then what I'll do is the other two are now going to fold up. Okay, so I'm folding that in a V fold, and I'm just going to match up the pieces with what I already placed in here, and then also adding adhesive onto the little heart portion. And I'm going to use my tweezers to make this a little bit easier on myself. And I'm going to match it up here. Again, placing glue now only on the heart, as I've already placed glue here. Match it up with that little tab that's already in there. A little bit difficult to see, but I'll share with you in just a second. And I'm going to burnish that. Okay, and you should have something that looks like this. So it's got the two little hearts facing toward the lid, the little half moons facing toward the inside of the box. And now it should be easy to close, just like so. Just be gentle with it. Mine's still a little bit wet. Okay, so now you have something that looks like this on the outside, which is so very pretty. So you could, of course, cut this out of whichever color paper you have, and this could be your completed box if you want. However, I think it's going to look really cute with the rest of it. So I'm going to leave that to dry. I'm going to train it, of course, to close. Now moving along to these pieces. These are going to create the rest of the box, and of course you can decorate them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, placing my decorative layers on here. And once those layers are glued, I'll be right back. Once you have all of your pieces assembled on the inside and outside of your box, and of course you can double up the paper by placing yet another decorative layer on the inside, which I highly recommend for this type of box. That way it keeps it nice and sturdy. And I did use 110-pound cardstock on all of the inside there. In fact, I even doubled up this piece inside. So there's two pieces of 110-pound cardstock right along that side, as well as the pieces that are decorating the outside. So that creates a nice sturdy box, and you can of course leave it just as is. You could place your closure here on the side if you wanted to by using these little tabs. There's several different options. So just to show you one, you could definitely use the little tab there with the hole on the side here. You could adhere the little heart one here to match it up like so if you wanted to. That's really up to you, because you could fold this little heart down and then just place a little ribbon there. You could also take, as pictured in one of the samples, you could take one of the little hinge pieces and fold that over, open it up like that, and then place that in the center as a decorative little feature there. And that's definitely up to you. Or you could feed this in and have the little notches facing up, as you see here. And once you slide that in, you can add the little tab to one side and the little heart to the other side, match them up, and then glue these down. So it's best always to match them up first and then match them to either side by only placing adhesive on the little tabs there. That would go to either side of the box, or you could definitely do two of the little pieces with the hole, one on either side, and then tie it there in a ribbon. Or you could omit that entirely and use the side of the box and then do the same thing by adding the little matching pieces one with another and then tying a little ribbon here. Or you could use two of the heart pieces if you wanted to, and these would have to be turned one inside out, if you will, or upside down, and then match those on the side. But if you do that, of course, it's going to be a little bit tricky. The other thing I meant to mention is you could close the box on the other side. So you could add the decorative pieces like this that are going to help you close the box. And that way you get to have the floral portion of this facing up, and then the other side would be the bottom of the box. Of course, you would then have to flip this inside out or upside down. You just flip this over, place it like so, and this is the other option that you have, is to close it like that, and then put your little closures here, which is what I believe I want to do, because I want to show the floral portion of this as the top of the box. And then of course that just means that this is the bottom, and it's still decorated and absolutely gorgeous, so you can't go wrong either way. There's also the little tabs or flags here. So this one I cut out with that gorgeous paper, and that is the water Sprite, and I can place that on here. The other little flag that I cut out says "Thanks for being you," and that can go here as a little sentiment. But I'm going to at first kind of aim this toward the center, and I'm going to place this on top. And what I want to do, of course, is, as I said before, match them up first, and then this is going to help me find exactly where I want to place this. I'm going to add the little decorative portion of this, which is the closure, as one side here, and I'm just going to center this. I'm kind of aiming toward the little oval that I can see there, and I'm placing that right there. And then I already have glue on the other side, but first I'm going to match up that little slit with the heart. Just being careful there not to push it back too far, and then I'm just going to apply pressure here, and that's going to be what's going to help me close this little box. And now all I have to do is tie a little ribbon. Or you could also use seam binding, anything like that. And I'm just going to cut off a piece of this. And now I'm going to feed it through. can take my scissors and cut the ribbon diagonally, and you can use a little lighter if you'd like to and just burn the very edge of that so that it doesn't fray. And this is your completed box. You can of course decorate it further using Nuvo Drops. Here's the little sentiment, which I think would look really cute, kind of just tucked in here. This is 2mm thick Craft Perfect dimensional foam, and I think it's going to be perfect for this because whenever you have a really small little detail like this, it's cute when you add dimension to it, and you don't need a whole lot. You can just place it right on top, and it has its own little liners here. But I am going to supplement that with some Nuvo glue, make sure it stays. And I'm just going to place this right on top of the other little matching banner. And of course that came with the set, and you do have different options there. And now I can place this right on top. So I'm going to just apply a little bit of glue here and place that right here. Such a cute little box. I hope that this tutorial has been helpful to you. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can leave me a comment and a thumbs up if you enjoy this content. Don't forget that there are affiliate links to all of my videos, so if you want to pick this up from Tonic Studios, you can go ahead and visit the links in the description bar of my video. It won't cost you any extra, it'll just help you to support my channel, and that I would appreciate highly. Thank you so much, Tonic Studios, for sending me this gorgeous die set. I know that this is going to get a lot of use in my craft room, and I think that you should pick it up as well. And if you do want to try out the mirror cardstock, the satin cardstock, or the Craft Perfect paper that I have used here, of course, that'll be available as well. And I thank you so much for having spent some time with me today. I hope that you can be inspired and be blessed.